So now we come to another point, that is the centripetal acceleration. So centripetal acceleration is the acceleration which is acting towards the center of the circular path, and it is along the radius vector. Okay, so suppose here number of forces are present, F1, F2 and F3. Then the centripetal force, which is related with your centripetal acceleration, so it is always representing the net force, okay, and which is acting towards the center of the circular path. So it means that F1 plus F2 minus F3 gives you the centripetal force. Okay, always remember this thing. So F1 plus F2, here the number of forces are F1, F2 and F3. So the net force is your centripetal force. So now we come to the point of the expression for centripetal force. So in case of the centripetal force, here also again we consider the same thing. So the two velocities V1 and V2, these are the two velocities. So this angle is del theta, this displacement is del s, this one is r. So the angle between the two velocities is your V1 and V2, angle between them is also the angular displacement. So this is your change in velocity. Okay, if we apply the parallax method in this diagram, then we have del s is equals to r del theta. Similarly, if we apply the parallax method here, then del v equals to v del theta. So v represent what? V represent the magnitude. Okay, magnitude of the two velocities, which is same, because in case of uniform circular motion the speed remains constant, so its magnitude is same. So del v equals to v del theta. So if we take these two equations and if we divide one equation by another, then we have del v by del s is equals to v del theta by r del theta. So it means del v by del s is equals to v by r, and del v equals to v by r del s. Again, if we divide both sides of the equation by del t, then this one is your change in velocity with respect to the time interval. So it means what? It will gives you the acceleration. So it equals to v by r, del s by del t gives you what? The rate of change of displacement. So it means velocity. So therefore a equals to v square by r. So a equals to v square by r, which is the relation in between centripetal acceleration and the linear velocity. And if we represent and if we place in place of v equals to omega r, then we have a equals to omega square r. So this is the relation in between centripetal acceleration and the angular velocity. Okay, this is the expression for the centripetal acceleration. So this derivation is very important in case of circular motion. And always remember, if the body goes from A position and again return back to the A position, then here the linear displacement, okay, linear displacement is 0. And but here this angle gives you the angular displacement, which is equals to 2 pi, 180 degree plus 180 degree 2 pi. So the time taken to complete this one revolution is your time period, and the number of revolutions complete in 1 second gives you the frequency. And there is one relation in between frequency and the time period, which is capital T equals to 1 by nu. Okay, nu represent the frequency, T represent the time period. So time period, time taken for one complete revolution, nu represent The frequency, it means the number of revolutions complete in 1 second. Okay, so again omega equals to, we know that omega is the angular velocity. So what is the angular displacement here? 2 pi. So this angular displacement is present for the whole time. It means the time period. Omega equals to 2 pi divided by t. So t is the time taken for the complete one revolution and 2 pi is the angular displacement. Okay. So omega equals to 2 pi by t, or it is also represented as 2 pi nu. So these equations are very important in case of numericals. Okay. So now you go through your the notes. Okay, whatever I already given. So go through the notes and also see the numericals. So if you have doubt, then please arise your question.